It always starts the same way. A controversial call, a penalty that looks soft, a red card that seems harsh, a VAR check that just doesn't come. The commentators hesitate, the fans erupt, and somewhere in your head, you hear it. If that was the other team, that call wouldn't have happened. You've said it, you've thought it, we all have. But what if it's not just bias talking? What if it's real? What if referees, without meaning to, subconsciously favor big clubs? Let's dive deep. Chapter 1. The pattern across the world. In nearly every league, the story feels familiar. Bigger clubs get more favorable calls. Smaller clubs get punished more quickly. Crowd pressure seems to bend the rules. And somehow, the richest always come out clean. Coincidence or something deeper? Let's start with the numbers. A 2021 academic study analyzing over 500 Premier League matches found that teams like Manchester United, Liverpool, and Chelsea received significantly more favorable decisions in high-pressure moments compared to mid-table or relegation-threatened teams. The researchers didn't say referees were corrupt. They said they were human, and humans are influenced by pressure, prestige, and perception. Chapter 2. The psychology of decision-making. Referees make hundreds of decisions in every match. Most are minor, some are huge, and they must all be made instantly. But here's what we know from neuroscience. Human brains are not computers. They're social machines. They're wired to respond to emotion, noise, hierarchy. Studies have shown that referees are more likely to favor home teams because of crowd noise. They're more likely to call fouls against teams that are physically aggressive. Even if it's fair, they are more hesitant to give penalties against teams with star players. And most importantly, they're more likely to subconsciously favor the expected winner. That's right. When a big club plays a small one, the mind expects dominance. So when dominance doesn't happen, the brain seeks to restore balance. This is called cognitive bias, and referees are not immune. Chapter 3. Crowd influence. One of the most studied aspects of referee bias is crowd pressure. Let's go back to a classic example. In 2007, researchers at the University of Wolverhampton conducted a study where they showed referees videos of the same fouls, once with crowd noise, once in silence. When crowd noise was present, referees were significantly more likely to call fouls in favor of the home team. Why? Because the brain is designed to avoid conflict, to seek social approval, to manage threat, and 60,000 fans screaming for a penalty? That's a threat to the brain's emotional center. Now combine that with fame. What happens when it's not just any home team, but a legendary club, the crest, the chants? The legacy. It all matters. Chapter 4. The star effect. Referees are trained to see the game objectively, but they're also people who watch football. They know the names, they know the faces, they know the legacies, and that creates something dangerous. The star effect. Star players get protected. They get the benefit of the doubt. They get away with more physicality. They're believed when they go down. Their fouls look accidental. Their dives look dramatic. And again, this isn't corruption. It's familiarity. It's influence. It's unconscious trust. Chapter 5. Case studies. Let's look at some moments that raised eyebrows. In 2018, Real Madrid was awarded a controversial late penalty against Juventus in the Champions League quarter-final. Many argued it was soft. Others said it was justified. But the timing, the location, the stakes, it all fed the narrative. Would that call have been made in the other box? Would it have been called at all if it weren't Real Madrid? Then in the Premier League, teams like Manchester United historically had more penalties at Old Trafford than most teams had all season. Is it the attack-heavy play style? Or is it reputation at work? In Italy, Juventus were once caught in the Calciopoli scandal, a proven example of referee manipulation. Though that was direct corruption, it showed how power could influence perception, and perception could shape outcomes. Now the mechanisms are subtler, but the outcomes often feel the same. Chapter 6. Technology, VAR, and human bias. When VAR was introduced, it promised fairness, justice, accuracy. The human error would be reduced, the controversy would vanish, football would finally be clean. But it didn't quite work out that way, because the problem wasn't just error. It was bias. And VAR didn't remove it. It relocated it. You see, behind every VAR decision, there's still a human, still a referee, still a brain, watching screens, interpreting, rules, feeling pressure. And while slow motion can show facts, decisions are still made by people, and people still carry bias. Here's what studies found. When reviewing footage, referees tend to side with their on-field colleagues. It's called professional loyalty bias. If the on-pitch ref called no penalty, the VAR is more likely to support it, even when replays suggest otherwise. And if the game involves a massive club, the pressure gets multiplied. Reversing a call against a big team could mean days of media fire, fan abuse, club statements, death threats. That's not a neutral environment. That's intimidation. Soft, indirect, but real. Chapter 7. Media amplification. Now enter the media. Every major decision is dissected. Talk shows, highlights, social media polls, YouTube channels, fan cams. And guess what? Most of the content centers around big teams. Why? Because that's where the engagement is. That's where the emotion is. That's what drives clicks. So when a small team is wronged, it's a story. But when a big team is wronged, it's a scandal. And referees know this. They live in the world of headlines too. They see the trends, they read the tweets, they hear the criticism, and deep down it shapes them. They may not admit it, they may not realize it, but their subconscious does. So what happens next time they stand at the edge of the penalty box, with the stadium roaring and the world watching? They hesitate. And in that hesitation, bias wins. Chapter 8. The fear of error. Let's talk about fear. Not the fear of being wrong, the fear of being blamed. In today's game, one wrong call can lead to suspension, demotion, public humiliation, endless abuse online. So referees play it safe. And safe often means don't anger the powerful. That means not giving a red to a famous striker, not awarding a goal against the club that draws 500 million viewers, not making the brave call when silence is easier. This fear leads to something dangerous, passive officiating. Let the game flow, let VAR handle it, let the controversy fade. But that's not fairness, that's fear disguised as neutrality. Chapter 8. 9. The mental burden of referees. Now, let's zoom in on the referees themselves. They're not robots, they're human beings, with families, with social media accounts, with insecurities. Imagine living every weekend knowing that millions will judge your every move. Imagine walking onto a pitch where every shout, every whistle, every mistake could define your career. Now add power imbalance to that. One team is worth €1 billion. The other is a local club with a modest budget. One has fans around the world. The other has 15,000 in a home stadium. And your job? Treat them the same. That's the task, and that's the illusion. Because in real life, no, two teams are treated equally. Chapter 10. Global patterns. This isn't just an English football issue, or a European one. All over the world, fans feel it. In Brazil, Flamengo and Palmeiras often get favorable calls. In Turkey, Fenerbahce, Galatasaray, and Beşiktaş fans accuse each other of bias. In Spain, it's Real Madrid versus Barcelona, versus the world. In Italy, Juventus still carries a cloud from past scandals. Everywhere you go, fans say, if we were a bigger club, we would have gotten that call. And maybe they're not wrong, because perception creates reality. And when a system favors legacy, money, media reach, small clubs always feel like visitors, even at home. Chapter 11. Can we fix this? So now that we've exposed the problem, can it be fixed? Can football become fair again? Can referees be truly neutral? Let's be honest, not perfectly, because human nature can't be deleted. Bias is part of the brain. Emotion is part of the game. But that doesn't mean we're helpless. There are ways forward. Solution. 1. Transparency. In VAR Step 1, open the doors. Let fans hear the conversations between referees and VAR teams. Let them understand how decisions are made, just like in rugby, just like in American football. When fans understand the reasoning, even controversial calls feel less corrupt. Secrecy breeds suspicion. Transparency breeds trust. Solution 2. Psychological training. Referees need more than rules. They need training in cognitive bias awareness, crowd influence resistance, mental clarity under pressure. If pilots get simulated crisis training, why? Not referees. They operate in chaos. They make life-changing calls. They deserve tools to stay balanced. Solution 3. Rotating VAR teams too. Much familiarity breeds bias. What if VAR teams rotated across countries, across leagues? New eyes, fresh minds, less local influence. Technology is global. Why not the officials? Who use it? Solution 4. Protect the referees. Referees need support, not abuse. They need psychological protection. They need digital security. They need governing bodies to defend them against online attacks. Because a referee under fear is not a free decision maker. They're a hostage to opinion. Chapter 12. The role of fans now. Let's talk about you. The viewer. The fan. The person watching this video. You're part of the system too. Every time we attack a referee for a call we don't like, we reinforce fear. Every time we ignore bias because it helped our team, we normalize it. But when we demand better standards across the board, change becomes possible. Football doesn't need perfection. It needs honesty, and honesty starts in the stands. Chapter 13. A fairer game, Zoe. What would fairness look like? Not silence, not certainty, but balance. A world where referees feel safe. Decisions are explained. Technology is used wisely. All teams, big and small, are judged by the same standard. That's not utopia. That's justice. That's football at its best. Chapter 14. Why this matters. Some might say, it's just a game. Why does it matter so much? Because it's not just a game. It's identity. It's culture. It's childhood memories. It's Sunday mornings and pub debates. It's heartbreak and euphoria. It's unity and escape. And when that becomes manipulated, when fairness is lost, we lose more than a match. We lose trust. We lose magic. Final thought. So, do referees subconsciously favor big clubs? The evidence says, yes, they might. Not because they're evil. Not because they're bought, but because they're human. And until the system stops punishing honesty and starts rewarding bravery, nothing will change. But it can, and it must. Because football deserves better. And so, do we.